Hello guys, and welcome to Mattsbeamer. Today I am able to film my friend's brand new LADA Vesta. And it's not just any old Vesta, it's a CNG version, which stands for compressed natural gas, which is different to LPG. The Vesta is built under the AutoVAZ group, which has links to companies such as Renault and Nissan. It's been in production since 2015. I remember seeing the car being revealed at a motor show a few years back. The Vesta is the car that replaced the LADA Priora, which I know because of the song LADA Sedan Bacalajan, which was a big hit a few years back. The Vesta was built on the LADA B platform, which was a development of the 2006 LADA C platform. So this car shares parts from Renault and Nissan. The car was designed by Steve Mattin, who designed very cool Mercedes such as the SL, the SLR, the Maybach, and so on. The Vesta is sold in either a saloon, an estate, or a jumped up estate, which is called the SW Cross. The car is available in either a 1.6 or a 1.8 petrol, so I am very glad they made this special CNG version, which is very cheap on fuel. About £4 a week when in gas mode. And he doesn't hold back with the mileage. You can have either a 5-speed manual or a 5-speed automatic. The automatic is available on the 1.8 version. This car here was built in 2018 and is finished in the glacial white paint code 211. Which is basically the standard colour on the Vesta. Starting at the front of the car, we have a big black plastic grille, which seems to have a Viking ship sailing across the front of the grille. The badge is finished in a chrome effect plastic. The big plastic grille has two massive slats going across it, with a honeycomb effect behind it, which protects the radiator from maybe some flying pelmini. The grille is a unique shape which extends to the lower half of the car, which gives it an angry look, which I quite like. These are the standard headlight units, which have halogen bulbs. Maybe you will be able to see the LADA name on the inside of the unit too, as well as chrome details. There are more chrome details which start from just under the headlights and work their way down to the lower half of the grille. Here is the location of where the fog lights should be, but as you can see, there are no fog lights on this specific trim level. The trim level on this car, don't forget, is the comfort. To the left of the number plate is where the tow and eye cover is located. On the bonnet are the car's windscreen jet washers, finished in a black plastic. The car is fitted with the classic design wipers. You may also notice that the front windscreen has a slight tint to it. Up on the roof is the car's antenna, finished in the black plastic. The wheels on this car are the 15-inch steel wheels with some nice LADA hubcaps. They are wrapped in Pirelli Centrato tyres, measuring 185/65 R15s. The suspension is an independent type with McPherson struts, springs, telescopic hydraulic shock absorbers, and an anti-rollover bar. The front brakes are ventilated discs. This car also has ABS and the electronic brake force distribution system. The front wheel arches also have mud flaps. The colour-coded wing mirrors on this car are electronically controlled and are also heated. They also have built-in indicators. As you can see, the windows are tinted and the trim around the windows are black. If you look at the side profile of the car, you will see there are unique lines down the doors. It kinda looks like an X shape, a bit like the front of the car. The door handles on this car are colour-coded, and to open the doors, you need to pull them. The Vesta CNG has a ground clearance of 175mm. The car is 1,764mm wide, 1,497mm tall, and the length of the car is 4,410mm. Here is the unique fuel door. Behind it is the conventional fuel cap for the petrol, and this red thing here is where you add the compressed natural gas. It was quite an experience trying to fill this car up. When you connect the nozzle for the gas line to the car, you will need to stand quite far back for safety reasons. I am pretty sure there are quite a few videos on how to fill this car up in Russian. I was also told by my friend that in Russia, before you can drive a gas car, you need to have a special license saying that you know what you're doing. The rear wheels are the same size as the front ones. The rear suspension is semi-independent with springs and shocks. The rear brakes are drum brakes. Heading around to the back of the car, the tinted rear heated window also has a third brake light. LADA must be very proud of his car, and so they should be. The word LADA on the rear is massive. The rear lights in this car are big and easy to understand, and I guess being the LADA, it's cheap to repair. Above the number plate are the number plate bulbs and the boot release. This is how you know it's a CNG from the outside of the car. There are no other ways to tell, from what I can see. On the lower area of the bumper, we have the parking sensors. There are 4 of them. The rear fog light is located in the centre of the rear bumper. And here is the towing eye. Here is the LADA key. It is well weighted and feels solid. Unlock, lock, and boot release. This key is a switchblade type key. This key also activates and disarms the car's alarm and immobilizer system. Inside the car is not a bad place to be at all. In certain areas inside the car, it does feel a little bit cheap. But to be honest, I'm not really that surprised, because a bog basic LADA Vesta costs just under £6,000 or $8,300 in the US, according to the LADA website on the 25th of April 2018. On top of the dash are the usual air vents for the windscreen and the front side windows. It may look soft, but the plastic is quite hard. Along the front edge of the dash, you have 4 air vents, all with an open and closed wheel and adjuster. In between the centre air vents is the radio. This one does not have a CD player. The sound quality though is pretty good. Top left you have the power on button plus a microphone, which works with the car's Bluetooth system. This is the screen, and to the right hand side of the screen we have the SD card slot and a display button. Below you have all the usual radio buttons. This car also supports USB and auxiliary sources. Below the radio is the button for turning on and off the CNG system. Those 4 green lights show you how much gas is left in the tank. To turn on and off the system, you need to push the button with the BRC on it. You will hear the gas tank open and close. Here's the hazard switch. I am very glad it doesn't have the horrible Nissan and Renault sound. Down below all this, you have more buttons. Well, this one has 2 buttons and 3 blanks. The door button is the central lock-in button. The other button is for turning on and off the electronic stability program. Moving on down to the air conditioning system. The left wheel controls the temperature, and if you press the button in the centre, it turns the air conditioning on and off. The top left-hand button warms up the front window. The other buttons control the zone control. As you can see, it is all displayed on this little screen. The right-hand wheel controls the fan speed. And if you press the button in the centre of the wheel, it controls the air circulation. The bottom left button is for the front window and for your feet too. The one in the centre is the rear heated window button, and the other one is another part of the zone control. Below all this, we have a small bit of storage. Behind here is the USB and auxiliary sockets. And this one down here is the 12-volt power socket. Luckily, this car has 2 cup holders up front, but they could do with being a little bit deeper. This car has the 5-speed manual transmission. It's the only choice of gearbox for the CNG, as the CNG only comes with the 1.6 engine. To select reverse, you need to press down the clutch, push the gear lever to the right hand side and pull back. When you select reverse, the parking sensors activate, and the closer you get to an object, the quicker the beeps get. As this car is in Russia, it has heated seats. Here's the classic handbrake. Over to the driver's view. Here is the steering wheel, which controls the front wheels through the rack and pinion setup. The car also has power steering. It has perforated material both sides of the wheel, and the thumb grips are at 10:2. The wheel is a 3-spoke design with alloy effect detailing. Here is the instrument cluster with white and red detailing. To the left hand side we have the rev counter. In the centre we have the speedometer in kilometers per hour. To the right hand side we have the coolant temperature up top, and the fuel gauge is just below. Below the speedo in the centre we have the onboard computer. The left stalks control the lights and indicators. The right stalk controls the wipers and the onboard computer. The buttons on the end of the stalk control what you can see, such as the range and miles per gallon. It also displays the outside temperature and mileage. The ignition on this car is the old key and ignition slot style. Throughout the interior you will notice silver detailing, just like this. To the left hand side of the steering wheel you have the headlight beam adjustment. Also you will see the boot release button. Just push it and it pops open. Moving over to the door, there is more silver trim and a material insert. The mirror and door controls are down here. Further away is the directional pad for the mirrors. Just back from that is the switch which allows you to select which mirror you want to control. It lights up orange when it is selected. These are the front window switches. Let's open the door. The door's storage is quite big. And here is where the door speaker is located. The pedals in this car have a tyre tread pattern to them. My friend though says that the pedals aren't comfortable enough to use. Here are the seats. For me they are quite comfortable. You will notice on the seat that the design is full of X's, which reminds me of the side of the car and the grille. At the front of the seat is a lever which moves the seat forwards and backwards. This lever on the side of the seat allows you to adjust the seat's height. The smaller lever further back is for changing the angle of the backrest. The driver is also very lucky because he gets his own armrest. For some people though, it is quite low. Jumping into the passenger side, you will see that the door has one switch for the window. Also, the passenger seat has no height adjustment. Here is the switch for turning on and off the front airbag. The passenger airbag is located just above the glove box. The glove box on this car is massive. I am pretty sure you can fit a few bottles of vodka in there. Some people also say that this glove box has a cooling feature too. The glove box also has a light. Just behind the mirror, before I forget, is the location of the tweeter speaker, if your car has it fitted. I almost forgot, this car here has a lever underneath the steering wheel which allows you to adjust the height and the forward and back position of the steering wheel. The rear view mirror on this car is pretty basic. You can manually tilt it. Up top we have an SOS button which is for calling the rescue service in emergency. The interior light switches, which also include map reading lights, and in the centre are warning lights for things such as not wearing a seatbelt and if the airbag is turned off. There is a mirror hidden away behind the sun visor. Jumping into the back of the car is pretty basic, as you would expect. I must say, you do notice the bumpy road more in the back. The rear doors follow the same design as the front, but the rear doors have wind-up windows. There is a speaker located just down below it. There is also a child lock too. Here is an unusual bit of storage. I'm not quite sure what for. The legroom on this car is okay. The front seat is quite far back. The headroom though is a bit restricted. I actually hurt my neck when my friend went over a speed bump. Everybody but the driver gets a soft closing grab handle. The driver gets a sunglasses case. There are storage pockets just behind the front seats too. This car gets 3 headrests, while the cheaper models only get 2 headrests. The Vesta also gets ISO fixed points too. The rear seats fold down in a 60-40 ratio, but on this car it is only useful for getting to the gas tank. Let's have a look in the boot. The boot is held up by a spring system, a bit like the old Rovers. The boot also features interior lighting. This is what lets the car down in my opinion, which is a shame. The size of the boot. It would have been a perfect taxi, but due to the size and location of the gas tank, it loses a big percentage of the space. A normal Vesta has a 480 litre boot, while this one here only has 250 litres left. Let's open the bonnet and have a look at the engine. The engine in this car is a 1.6 inline-4, known as the 21129 CNG. As you know, this car is a dual fuel motor, which gets its fuel directly injected into the engine. Since this car is dual fueled, it also has 2 different performance statistics. When in petrol mode, the car does 175 km per hour, while in gas mode it does 170. It's the same story with the acceleration. 0 to 100 km per hour takes 11.8 seconds in petrol mode and over a second longer in gas mode at 12.9 seconds. This car is said to do around about 45 miles per gallon on a mixed run, so it is very lucky that the compressed natural gas is very cheap. The 1596cc engine produces 106 horsepower and a torque of 148 Newton meters of torque at 4,200 revs per minute, which gets sent through to the front wheels of the vehicle. Let's start it up and listen to her. Thank you for watching this video. It's a car I genuinely like, and I would be happy to run about in it. If you like this video, and you would like to see more Soviet and Russian cars, please let me know. Take care, and have a good day.